Hello guys, Literature and Language Portal is with video number 15, and in this video we will discuss about books and works of English literature with some similarities in title. Due to these similarities, sometimes we get confused. So before we start with, again this is a request to you people, please like, share and subscribe my channel. So the very first title is Prelude title. प्रिल्यूड नाम जैसे ही हम अटर करते हैं सबसे पहले विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ का नाम हमारे माइंड में आता है बिकॉज द प्रिल्यूड एक ऑटोबायोग्राफिकल पोम है दैट इज़ रिटन बाय विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ ने इसे ब्लैंक वर्स में लिखा एंड इट वाज पब्लिश्ड आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ वर्ड्सवर्थ बाय हिज वाइफ. It was named earlier Growth of Poet's Mind and was dedicated to his friend Coleridge. Poem is also called an introduction to the poem Recluse, which was never published in his lifetime. Next work with the prelude title is Preludes. It is a poem by T.S. Eliot that was written in 1910-11 and is made up of 4 poems. It is about drudgery, waste and isolation of modern urban life. Next with prelude title is a short story with the name Prelude by Catherine Mansfield. ऐसा माना जाता है कि कैथरीन मैन्सफील्ड ने इस स्टोरी को स्टार्ट किया था, but she was not willing to complete it, but later on Virginia Woolf encouraged her to write the story. स्टोरी एक फैमिली के बारे में है, स्टैनले बर्नल फैमिली के बारे में, एंड हम फैमिली की लाइफ के 3 दिनों के बारे में पढ़ते हैं when they are moving to a larger house. Next one is A Prelude to a Riot, and it is a novel by Annie Jadi. ANNIEZAIDI. दिस इज़ ए पीस ऑफ वर्क जो हमें ये बताता है कि कैसे एक पीसफुल प्लेस को हम एक अनरेस्टफुल प्लेस में चेंज होते हुए देख सकते हैं ड्यू टू द मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग्स ऑफ रिलीजन, रेस और अदर थिंग्स. नेक्स्ट प्रिल्यूड वर्क इज़ अ प्रिल्यूड विच इज़ अ शॉर्ट स्टोरी रिटन बाय D.H. लॉरेंस इन 1907. ये स्टोरी 2 लवर्स के बारे में है who are separated from each other because of class and money, but later they come together because of their strong bond of love. Now the next work. It is basically a title with Nightingale. So again with the Nightingale we have in our mind another romantic poet who belongs to the younger generation of romantics, John Keats. So guys, Ode to Nightingale is a poem by John Keats which was written in 1819. It is a famous ode that glorifies the nightingale. Next work is The Nightingale, a conversational poem by S.T. Coleridge. Poem was written in 1798 and was part of lyrical ballads. Next one is O Nightingale, which is also known as To the Nightingale. It is a Milton's sonnet and is also known as sonnet number 1. It shows contrast between a nightingale and a cuckoo, and poem is also a contrast between love and hate. Next work with the Nightingale title is The Nightingale, which was one of the famous poem by Sir Philip Sidney. This poem was based on Ovid's Metamorphoses. Next work is Nightingales, which is a poem by Robert Bridges. हम रॉबर्ट ब्रिजेस को बेसिकली जानते हैं हॉपकिंस की पोइट्री को लाइमलाइट में लाने के लिए, बट दिस इज ऑल्सो ब्यूटिफुल पोम बाय हिम. In this poem, there is a reference to Philomela, a mythical character. Next work is with the same title, that is The Nightingale, which is a historical fiction novel by American author Christine Hanna. It is a story of two sisters in France during World War II and their struggle to survive. Now move on to the next title, and that is Skylark title. So again, a romantic poet with us, P.V. Shelley, who has written To a Skylark. It was written in 1820. It's a poem of 21 stanzas and is an ode. पोम का थीम है पावर ऑफ नेचर एंड हाउ नेचर डिलाइट्स एंड इंस्पायर पीपल. इसमें एक बहुत ही फेमस लाइन है, हेल ब्लिदे टू दी. You will you can see on the screen some lines of the poem as well. Next with Skylark title is To the Skylark. It is an ode by Wordsworth and it was written in 1827. The poem was about joyful morning songs of Skylark. Next with Skylark title is Shelley's Skylark, which was written by Thomas Hardy. हार्डी शेली के बहुत बड़े एडमायरर थे, जैसे जॉन कीट्स शेक्सपियर के बहुत बड़े एडमायरर थे. एंड ये माना जाता है कि अपनी लाइफ टाइम में कभी भी ऐसा नहीं होता था कि शेली के पास Shelley's Skylark is another poem with Skylark title which was written by Thomas Hardy. हार्डी बहुत ही बड़े एडमायरर थे शेली के, और ये माना जाता है कि अपने यंग डेज में कोई भी टाइम ऐसा नहीं होता था जब हार्डी के पास शेली की पोम्स ना हो. He always used to carry Shelley's poems in his pocket. Next one is London title. So we have another poet, William Blake, with his London. London was written in 1795 and it was published in Songs of Experience. मैं आपको बता दूं, लंदन पोम का कोई भी पैरेलल पोम सॉन्ग्स ऑफ इनोसेंस में नहीं है, जैसा कि बहुत सी विलियम ब्लेक की पोम्स में था. This poem talks about child labor, prostitution जिसे हम वेश्यावृत्ति कहते हैं, and poverty. Next, London is a sonnet by Wordsworth. ये दोनों ही लंडन बहुत कंफ्यूज करती हैं because both are written by romantic poets. So this London was written in 1802. Wordsworth's London was basically addressed to Milton. मिल्टन को एड्रेस की गई थी, and in this London, Wordsworth is addressing Milton that he should be alive this time to make England alive, so that England could be made fit for living. There is a very famous line in this poem, "Thy soul was like a star." Next one is the Reckless title. The Reckless was an unfinished work of Wordsworth. It was published in 1888, and again there is a saying that Coleridge and Wordsworth दोनों ने decide किया they are going to write an enormous poem, and which was to be named basically The Recluse is an unfinished work of Wordsworth which was published in 1888. Coleridge और Wordsworth ने early phase of writing में decide किया that they will write an enormous poem on philosophy, religion and some other topics. But they were supposed to name it The Brook. बाद में Coleridge ने अपना hand withdraw कर लिया from writing, and Wordsworth took the charge. But he named the poem Recluse. It was never completed, only 3 project part of it were written. So later on it was published with the name The Excursion in 1814. The Recluse is another poem by Nassim Ezekiel. Next is title Hamlet. Hamlet, as you all know, is a major tragedy by William Shakespeare, and it needs no explanation. It is also known as the tragedy of Hamlet and the Prince of Denmark. It was published somewhere between 1599 and 1601. It is also considered as the longest play of Shakespeare. Next, with Hamlet title is The Hamlet, which is a novel by American author William Faulkner. It was the first novel of Snope's trilogy. The next title is Ulysses title, and the very first work is a poem by Alfred Tennyson, which is also a dramatic monologue with the name Ulysses. Alfred Tennyson was a poet laureate of England from 1850. This poem is based on Dante's Inferno and is written in blank verse. पोम 1833 में लिखी गई थी, but it got published in 1842. With the same name exactly, there is a novel by James Joyce, and this novel came in book form in 1922. यूलिसिस नाम होमर की एक एपिक पोम ओडिसी के हीरो ओडिसियस के लिए लैटिन में लिया गया है. नॉवेल में होमर की पोम ओडिसी के कुछ पैरल्स भी हैं. Then the next one is Passage to India title, and the very first work that we all know is E.M. Forster's A Passage to India. This novel examines racism and colonialism. It is divided into 3 parts, mosque, cave and temple, and is a must-read work. With Passage to India title, we have another work that is Passage to India. The work by E.M. Forster is A Passage to India, and this one that I am going to discuss is only Passage to India by Walt Whitman. This work describes an imaginary journey that a speaker wants to take to find India, land of fables. Passage to India was also part of the famous Leaves of Grass of Walt Whitman. So this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. For the few more videos, please stay with us, be happy and be careful. Thank you so much.